Hey, Geeks. This is the officially unofficial Geek podcast vlog here on YouTube, and let's geek out for a bit. All right, let's geek out on comics. As you guys know, I've been getting back into comics, back into comics, whichever way you want to look at it. Um, I've been very heavy in the DC universe. So I'm gonna just talk about a bunch of comics that I've read recently, just in one video, just instead of stringing them all out, into many videos. It's just kind of like my comic roundup, roundup, whatever. Um, so I guess maybe you could call it a haul. I don't know, but they were all about around the same time. So, and they were only bought from two different stores. So I guess that qualifies. Um, and there's quite a bit that is sitting here right now with me. It was actually bought from three different places, and I'm going to explain that a little bit. So the DC universe has done like a few different things, recently. One of them, I've talked about before, the White Knight series, and actually that is the Harley Quinn series that I talked about before is actually going to be something that I'm going to uh, the next issue. The last issue of that series, written for Harley Quinn, is going to be coming out later this month, actually. I believe on 23rd or 24th or something like that. Um, but I will be getting it. And what I wanted to do with that one, because it was kind of like my jump back in. Like I'd read comics here and there, like I'd mentioned before, but like this is kind of my jump back in, and it's like I said, it's a 6-issue series, and I want to go ahead and I talked about the first one before in a video, but I want to go ahead and talk about all of them together. And that will happen probably right after I read it. So I'm gonna probably read it and then maybe go through the whole series again just to um, refresh my memory if I need to. I'm not sure I'm gonna need to. It's pretty straightforward story, and I remember the whole storyline pretty easily. It's because it's actually really good. You remember a storyline when it's really good, I feel. So, we're going to talk about other comics. We're going to talk about other Harley comics, and we're going to talk about other DC comics as well. So, um, let's get it going. Um, like I was kind of mentioning, the DC universe have been kind of doing different types of things lately, and I mean, it's like you had the new 52, right? Which not a lot of people were really into, and then you had the rebirth. But now we're going to be getting it. There's a bunch of different ones, like you had the White Knight series, with the Harley Quinn ones that I've been reading. Then you have um, the Future State, which is goes all over the whole DC superhero universe. Um, and it's all basically a possible future, um, for Gotham City. And um, it's all like, this could happen, possible future state. This is what could happen. Um, so the first one I read out of the Future State comics was the Harley Quinn series. Now, see, the thing is that the Future State series had a bunch of different storylines all connected in some way, a little bit, because they all took place in this whole possible future universe. And so there's a number of different ones. Like there's a series involving the Justice League. There's a series involving Batman. Series involving couple series involving Batman. Couple series that involved Superman, and so on and so forth. The ones that I'm specifically going to be talking about, there are so many issues for each storyline. The ones in particular that I'm going to talk about, there are two series two sub-series under the Future State series that were devoted to Harley Quinn, and then one that was devoted mostly to Catwoman. Catwoman was the main star of it, and Harley was the main star of hers, obviously. Now, both of them were 2-issue, basically like serials, like 2-issue series within the bigger, vaster series. So I learned something involving the comic book world from one of the main people that we buy comic books from, and that was that a lot of times people will come in looking for stuff, and they'll come and they'll buy up the first issue of a series, and they won't buy up any others. So it's basically you have all the issues of a store like bought up for the first issue, and then so people that are kind of discovering it a little bit later, like maybe when the second issue comes out and they are looking for the first issue because they want to know the whole story, stores usually sometimes don't have a lot of stock left of the first issue, because a lot of people will go and buy that up and then never come back and buy the second issue. So just going out there and trying things off, and trying things out, and trying to decide if they want to continue. And if they want to continue, obviously they're probably coming back to get the second issue. But I ran into this problem on my end with the Harley Quinn Future State storyline, because he didn't have the first one, and it was a bummer, and went to a couple places and they didn't have the first one. Everybody had the second one. This is issue 2. This is actually the variant cover, one of the variants of the issue. Let's see. It's pretty cool. I don't buy things for the covers. I know some people like to collect all the different covers. That's not really what I do. I basically look at it and be like, that looks cool. I want it, and I want to read the story. So the cover is something that will draw in people. But like, this ended up being the variant, and I did get this from our dude down that we normally go to. And yeah, this is Harley Quinn Future State number 2. So you're probably asking, well then, what did you do? Well, I mean, think about it for a second. You could probably figure out what I did. I went to a couple different stores, still did not find the number 1, and ended up reading it on Kindle. Yeah. So it's not as fun as having the actual comic in your hand, but it got the job done. So that's why I can't show you the cover of Harley Quinn Future State Harley Quinn number 1, because it's on my Kindle app on my phone. That's how I read the Future State number 1 for Harley. And so basically the story is this. Okay, so like in this future version of Gotham, future version of Gotham, it is ruled by this group called the Magistrate, and the Magistrate has banned all masked individuals. Like, you can't wear a mask. So basically you can't even be like a crime fighter like Batman and wear a mask. Definitely can't, wear a mask and be, somewhat, bad guy, but even people like Batman are illegal. And I mean, that goes without saying, like, Batman was already kind of illegal, because he's a vigilante, but it's now illegal to wear a mask. Okay. So Harley gets, let's see her here. Pretty awesome. Yeah. So Harley gets captured by the magistrate, and she is basically given an opportunity to, well, see, the thing is what you find out is that a lot of people really respect Harley for her mind. They think she's like batshit crazy, in which, it's, yeah, okay, it's Harley. We all know about Harley Quinn. But she's also like really fucking smart and knows her shit. Okay? So she is considered a possible asset. And so she gets captured by the magistrate, and basically they bring in Dr. Jonathan Crane, which, if you know your history for Batman, you know who Dr. Jonathan Crane is. Scarecrow. Yeah. Anywho, so Scarecrow is working with them, but he's not Scarecrow anymore. He's going by, well, he is technically Scarecrow because he's always going to be Scarecrow, but he's also, when he's working with them, he's Dr. Jonathan Crane. And so he is basically talking to Harley and is like, we can make this easier on you. We can make jail and everything, how you experience all this, we can make it a lot more friendlier and comfortable for you if you help us in our basically in our task, in our journey to find all these bad guys and put them behind bars where they where they belong. So they kind of want her to like shrink people, and they're like, we need your help understanding the mindset of these criminals so that we can go and capture them. And like I said, they told her basically, you can do this, and everything we'll arrange it to, everything will be a lot more comfortable for you. We may even let you go after a certain point because, of all this work you're doing for us, all the good work you'll be doing for them. Um, and so Harley, who is, at her heart, she is, intellect. She does, she has a decision to make. Is she going to help them? Um, use the knowledge that she has to help them so that she can have better prospects in her life, or is she going to tell them to go to hell? So, or maybe she does both. Who knows? Well, I know, but I'm not going to give it away because I've told you enough. So I recommend this. It's just a two issue. If you happen to find the first one in print, go for it. But if you don't, Kindle is a great alternative. You have different other avenues where you can go, um, and you can read issue 1. And if you can't find issue 2, it's there as well. So it is great. I actually really enjoyed it. It's a good little 2 issue. So I recommend it. So go check that out if you want to read about the possible future of Harley Quinn. Now that I've talked about Harley in the future state, I'm going to talk to you about the other. I'm going to go right ahead and talk to you about the other future state that I read. It was the future state Catwoman. Um, so I ended up getting two more variant covers for that one. So this is number one. This is the variant cover, and I do have, I started learning to get bags and boards with everything, so now I have to get everything bagged and boarded. Is it boarded? Bagged and boarded? Boarded and bagged, board and bagged? When, I'll figure it out later, I swear. So this is Future State Catwoman 1, the variant cover, one of them at least. I don't know if there's a lot of variant covers. I think there's just one for this one. That's our lovely Catwoman, Selena Kyle. Yes. And along with that story, you have another variant cover. I got lucky with this one, some people would say, but this is number 2. Lovely Selena Kyle on the cover. Very no nonsense. Very cool. I like Catwoman. It might have nothing to do. It has nothing to do the fact that I like cats. No, it probably has something to do with it. But so I kind of read a synopsis about, because I was trying to figure out if I wanted to read any of the other future state runs, and Catwoman is another 2 issue. And it's really, again, I really liked it. I love these anti-heroes. I think that's kind of, because I'm not really an anti-hero like personality type. If you want to look at alignments, like if you want to assess like a D&D, alignment type thing to this, if I were to assess an alignment to myself, if I'm being honest, it's probably lawful good. Like, I'm just being honest. Yeah, so. And for some reason, kind of, uh, um, I kind of, get drawn to characters like Harley, characters like Catwoman, and, the characters that kind of blur the lines of what's good, bad, black, white, gray. They kind of mix their black and white together and make a very dark gray at times. Um, it's not all. I mean, there's a lot of shadow psychology in this, where not everyone is all the way bad, not everyone is all the way good. Um, and that's why I kind of like these kind of characters, I think. That, and because it's kind of totally different than who I am. It's definitely a fantastical type of thing for me. But anyways, Catwoman, Future State. Future State Catwoman is, on its surface, it's really good. It's really good. It's really interesting. It made me want to read some other stuff in the Future State. So I'm gonna have to look into doing that. Couple things. So this whole place is fucked up. Gotham is fucked up, and you have the magistrate, those guys. They are not cool. They're kind of oppressive, and I mean, come think of it, like nobody can even wear a mask. You know, it's they're really uptight. Yeah. So you have Catwoman, and she has sidekicks now, kind of like you would say sidekicks, and people that she works with. And but she also has these street kids, these street people that she calls them her strays. And um she's influencing her strays to protest the oppressive government with her and for her. And then what happens is the strays get that are protesting, they get captured and they get put on this train to go to this reformatory. And this reformatory is toting itself, the magistrate is toting this reformatory as a place where people can become upright citizens. And um, who knows what it actually is. So um, she finds out she gets the help of a new mechanical type suit, and she is going to, with the help of some of her strays that are on the the train that they're on. They time it out. They know exactly how long she can do one thing, how long she can do another thing, how long it's going to take her to do this, how long it's going to take her to do that. They time it out, they make a plan, and then it comes time to implement it. And she's, doing her thing. And this is a Catwoman that is basically under the impression that Batman's gone. This is Selena Kyle. Selena Kyle is, and you're gonna see this in the other Catwoman series that I'm going to talk about tonight. You're gonna see this, and Selena Kyle is in mourning. Kind of. She's in the only way that Selena Kyle as Catwoman can mourn Batman and Bruce. So she thinks that she knows that Bruce is dead. And now she's fighting against the magistrate and their oppressiveness and everything like that. So will she succeed? Will she make a difference? Will she get her strays off that train? Will she hijack the train? It's a good old train heist kind of story. They come up with a plan. They infiltrate the train. They get what they came for and then some. So you need to read the comic to get the rest of the story. I'm not going to tell you the rest of the story because that would be bad and that would defeat the purpose of doing this. So it's a good old train heist kind of story, except they're not really looking for treasure. They're not really looking to they're not really looking to rob anyone, unless they're looking to rob, their friends, their people. There's Catwoman strays, her crew. So that is Future State Catwoman 1 and 2. It's another 2 issue, like I think I mentioned already. And it's great. I do recommend it. I haven't really found anything I don't like yet. So I mean, maybe I'll find something I don't like, but it's always refreshing when you like everything you're reading, involving comics at least. Sure. All right. So, oh golly. So that Catwoman Future State, 2 issues, and let's move on to the next group. Okay? So the next series that we're going to be looking at is another Batman Catwoman series. So this is kind of an interesting concept, okay? This is another one of the Black Label, series. This is kind of it's kind of DC's replacement for Vertigo. I guess maybe there's no kind of about it. It's the more adult stuff that they it's by putting the black label on, it's supposed to mean this is the more adult stuff that's not really good for kids at all. Um, and that's what we got here. Is This is the first 3 issues of what is going to be, I believe, a 12-issue set, a 12-issue story. Now, here's the deal with the Batman Catwoman series, the Black Label, this 12-issue series. It's not meant to be canon. Okay? It's kind of the writers, Tom King, Clayman, and Tamu Mori. I am so sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Um, it is a series that is supposed to be their viewpoint of and what they think the story of Bruce Wayne, Batman, and Selina Kyle, Catwoman, should go. Now, so that's fine. That's good. The issues, I want to see how this pans out. Like I said, there's nothing here that I didn't like. What I do like about this is it's basically the beginning of the first issue, which would be this long. This lovely little piece of work here. So at the beginning of the first issue, you have, see, this is the first page of story and everything. So you have a woman, very nicely dressed woman, in a convertible, a very nice convertible, um, and the words of Silent Night are playing. And you have obviously a little kitty with her. So it's like, theories abound as to exactly who this nice looking older lady driving a nice convertible, with a cat in her lap. Theories abound as to exactly who that is. Um, so, 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count. Okay, 1, 2. Okay, so it's Selina. It's Selina Kyle, and she is the one driving that wonderful looking automobile with the little kitty in her lap. And what happens is she goes and she's visiting someone in what looks like a retirement community. And when she visits them, she tells them that Bruce has died. That, what the hell is this with fucking Batman dying all the time on Selina Kyle? What? Okay, so she had lived her life with Bruce, and she's older now, and Bruce has just passed away, and she informs this person that she's gone to visit that Bruce has passed away, and they're talking about their kids. They have he has kids, and this guy that she's visiting has kids, and he talks about him. He has grandkids, if I remember correctly. And so you have Selina talking about her daughter with Bruce, Helena Wayne, and what she's been doing. And this is all going on. This conversation between these 2 people is all going on, kind of juxtaposition with scenes from the past. So Andrea Beaumont comes to visit Bruce. Now, this is in the past, and informs him that her son, Andrew, has run away, has gone missing, and she needs his help. And as far as she knows, he was on his way to Gotham. That's why she's there. And so this is all happening in flashbacks. So you have these flashbacks where Selena Kyle and as Catwoman and as Selena Kyle is running around, Bruce Wayne is running around as Batman, and Andrea Beaumont's also there looking for her son. Now Andrea Beaumont is Phantasm, just FYI. So this is basically the how do I put this? This is kind of like it's like Catwoman had made this promise. Selena had made this promise throughout her life to only act in a certain way, because she loved Bruce with certain situations. She was only supposed to do things a certain way, and now she's in mourning again. Well, she's in mourning. It's a different story. She's in mourning again. She's lost Bruce, and he's gone. He's died. He was an old guy. And the story is going through this one story that what happens after he dies, with the older Selena Kyle, and what happened in the past. And I'm sure it's all going to tie in together, and it all kind of does, but it's like I don't want to tell you how it ties in these issues, because that would also be kind of giving shit away, and I want you to be able to enjoy it. It's not going to be a canon story. It's not going to be something that's really going to matter in the overall, mythos of Batman and Catwoman, and the other characters involved. But it is something that it's an interesting story. It's basically, like I said, it's what they wanted. It's how they wanted the relationship between the two of them to play out. So between not only the two of them, but other characters as well. So I'm not going to tell you anymore because it's worth it to read it. I'm going to continue reading this series. But here is your first issue. See, it's the Batman Catwoman. Yeah. So here's the back cover because it's kind of like got that whole like Christmas it's kind of like a whole like holiday carol feel with it, with the Silent Night. So they always have these back covers like this, and I'm pretty sure it's probably going to continue like this. But yeah, that is the back cover of issue 1. Now we've got, this is issue number 2, and this is one of the variant covers. So you have Catwoman, you have the Joker, and you have Batman there. And on the back, it has up on the housetop with the Cape Crusaders mug there. Yeah. And this one is another variant cover. Pretty fucking cool there. The black labels, try to not get too much of the glare on there. Yeah. And then here's the back with God rest ye merry gentlemen. Pretty cool. Yeah. Pretty cool. 3 guesses as to who that is. Okay. So it's it's good. I'm going to be keeping up with it. It is kind of like one of those things where it's like um if I did fall off of it, I could pick it up later because it's not supposed to be canon. Um but I kind of like the whole like when your life is over and when I guess maybe when the person you made all these promises to dies, do you still have to keep the promises? Or do the promises die with them? Uh, so that's that one. But okay, so I have two more issues. They're intertwined to talk about. And again, more DC superheroes, more Batman. More Batman. So we'll get into it now. All right. Okay, so sorry. If you notice that it cuts out every so often in the videos because I have to stop and have a drink every so often because of all the talking I'm doing. Um, one, my apartment is very dry, and two, I've been doing a lot of talking. So, um, yeah. All right. So on with the comics. Now you are going to see me probably looking off to the side with this because the next two that I'm going to be talking about is a little bit there's a little bit more of a build up and a little bit more information, background information that I did make notes about so that I would make sure to remember everything that I was going to have to talk about. And you are going to see me wearing my glasses, so there may be a little bit of a glare with my computer screen so that I'm able to actually read them and don't forget anything that I'm going to talk about here. Um, so, the DC Universe has basically started a new era, and that is referred to as the Infinite Frontier, the DC Infinite Frontier. And basically, the Infinite Frontier follows the DC Rebirth, which was following the New 52. Um, Now, what's good about this is that the previous stories are still canon from everything else. Everything else is still canon in the story. It doesn't, completely erupt everything and start over. But also, it aims to make many of the pre-Flashpoint stories also canon. So that gives you a little bit more leeway with this. But it is the new rebirth of the DC superhero universe. Um, so they did this start, and basically everything is got their starting off point happening very, very soon, if not already. Um, so basically, what this is it's a recreation of the infinite multiverse. Okay, so this is the first issue. It's basically just kind of introducing it. Um, the Infinite Frontier DC number 0, issue 0. So it's got what's really cool about the two issues that I got from this so far, which is this and Batman 106, is they have this cool wraparound cover. So let me sit back to kind of give you the full. Okay, so you have this side of the cover, right? And then look at that. Isn't that fucking awesome? Got my girl right there, Harley. Yeah. Zoom in on the Harley. Yeah. Okay, so we've got Flash, we've got Wally, we've got yeah, we got like a bunch of people there. Got our girl Catwoman right here. See? Yeah. Got Green Arrow, Black Canary, Superman, you know, members of the Teen Titans. And, back on the front, we got, your bigwigs, you got your Batman, you got your Superman, you got your Wonder Woman. Okay, so this is the recreation of the infinite multiverse. Um, Wonder Woman has ascended, and the quintessence, um, offers her a spot with them. Okay, so Wonder Woman has just defeated the bad guy in The Batman Who Laughs, and she's now being given this. It's kind of like Frodo getting to go into the West at the end of Return of the King, the movie Return of the King. Um, it's he gets to he's given this great honor from the elves to join with them. Okay, so it's kind of like that. Wonder Woman is ascended into the quintessence. Quintessence. This is going to go down as one of those words I can't pronounce well. Okay, sorry. Offers her a spot with them. But what happens is so read into it what it is. Okay, so she ascends. So so I think basically her mortal life is supposed to be over at this point. But she is worried about other threats that she kind of got clued into. And so she wants to go check on everyone. She's worried about the threats of what would be possible from what she just did. So it's apparently a big deal that she did it. It's a good thing that she did what she just did, but she's also worried about it. Okay? So she wants to make sure that if she moves on, that her friends are okay. She wants to make sure everything's okay. So Spectre, who's there, decides that he is going to kind of show her everything that's going on. Now, I have to say that I really wonder if the writers for this particular issue also were into theater. Just the ones that wrote the overall concept, came up with the overall concept of Wonder Woman ascending and being amongst this group of the quintessence. Jesus. I have to wonder if there's a play. Okay, so basically, you have Spectre showing her what's going on now, what the results of everything were, for her to look at. And it kind of reminded me of Thornton Wilder's Our Town. When, oh God, what's the character's name? When I think it's Emily. When Emily dies and she's in the graveyard and she wants to go and see everything. She wants to go see things from her life, and they're like, you should just join us and not do this. There's nothing good is going to come from this. Okay, but if you insist, we'll go do it. So that's kind of what happens here, except she's not looking at the past. She's looking at everything that's happening now that's a result of what she did uh, to kind of, fix everything, help everything. And it's kind of a longer issue. You can see it's kind of got some girth to it. there's different stories from all different, areas. You got Superman, you've got, Batman, you've got, you know, you've got Wonder Woman stuff, you've got, old Justice League stuff, uh you got, you know, you got Stargirl. Yeah, I mean, all kinds of stuff in here. And you got the Green Lanterns. So it's really, and it is just, it's a really awesome cover. Yeah. So it is basically, because it's this renewal, it's the zero, right? It's telling the story of Wonder Woman going around and looking at everyone and what they're going through and what they're dealing with. And so at the end, there's a big reveal. So I'm not going to tell you what happens. I'm not going to tell you what Wonder Woman decides, because that's up for you to look at and that's up for you to read. So this is basically, the jumping off point for this new universe. And the next issue for the universe is Batman 106. And this is another one of those wraparound covers. While this one was the real, like the normal cover, the wraparound cover for Batman 106 is the variant cover. But let me show that to you here. So you've got my girl Harley there. You got Batman, obviously. You got Catwoman. You got, all kinds of different. You got Batwoman up there. Yeah. So then here's the other side. Got a lot of different characters here. Got Oracle and yeah, Joker's right there. So this is the continuation of the story that was started in Zero. And we're in a situation where Bruce Wayne is not rich anymore. And there's two stories in this issue. And it is kind of a little bit thicker, not as thick as, not as much girth as the jumping off point Zero. But there's two stories. The first one is the Cowardly Lot and Demon or Detective. So I don't want to tell you too much about what happens, except we have Bruce Wayne, excuse me, still fighting crime and doing the best he can in this new world. This is not the future state. This is not anything like that, but it is still pretty messed up. And he is trying to fight crime even though he's not rich anymore. He doesn't live in the mansion anymore. He has to deal with having neighbors and having the neighbors not think too highly of him. The neighbors don't think too highly of him, and they, mostly because they have to deal with the reporters coming and trying to find out about what happened with Bruce Wayne, so they're not really into it. But so you have Bruce and his team. He has a team with them going after the Unsanity crew, the Unsanity gang. And so that is what happens in this. And you have a couple side stories in it. I'll let you guys read it to find out. But I really did enjoy it. I will be reading on. I'll be reading other issues from this thing, right? From the Infinite Frontier. It even has an appearance with my girl Harley. She's not just on the cover. There's a moment where This is okay. I can talk about this because I just think it's funny. There's a moment when Harley is involved. Just a brief moment. She's there and it's basically it's Harley, being Harley, but she's trying to be better person. So it's what happens and her gripes involving trying to be a better person. And what happens with that? Now, there's two stories, like I said, there's the Cowardly Lot and there's Demon or Detective. And Demon or Detective has the cliffhanger of the issue. So that is fun. I'm not going to tell you about it because you have to read it. Sorry about that. Like I said, I had to cough. It's not fun. Okay, so this is all the comics I do have to tell you about today. Um, so, like I said, we're going to be reading, I believe, the last Harley Quinn for the Batman White Knight series. Comes out on the 23rd, 24th, something like that. So I plan on getting that on that day. So I would like to do a video shortly after reading that and just kind of about the whole series. um, that's it for comics right now. So geek out, buy small, and go to your local comic book stores and get there on the day it comes out if you want to get the first issue of something. Um, if not, just buy what you can and then fill in the holes with Kindle, because just like if you have to buy the second issue from the comic book shop and then buy the first one on Kindle or what have you, do it, because people get credit for that still. The artists and everything get credit for the sales. And then you know what? If you have to buy the second one before even reading it on the Kindle or whatever, or one of these other programs, do that, because the store, the stores get credit, and a lot of these places are small comic book stores, and they deserve that. So, um, geek out until next time. This has been the officially unofficial Geek podcast, and I again am Carrie Quinn. And please make sure to visit our podcast and listen to our podcast. Go to our Facebook page, like our Facebook page, and I got a TikTok now. So come find me at officially unofficial geek on TikTok and follow me there if you're on TikTok. And of course, hit subscribe on this video if you like what we have to say. And if you want to comment, maybe you've read these comics and you have a difference of opinion, or maybe you want to talk about some of the things I said, please leave a comment, but subscribe, like, all that jazz. And I'll be seeing you all soon. Bye-bye.